Right, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all things aeration, because as you can see behind me now, this lawn has been aerated because we are into the swing of autumn lawn care stuff now. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the benefits behind aerating your lawn today, how you can do it, why you should do it, and kind of dispelling a few myths, because it's the internet, there's obviously going to be. So let's start off then with what aeration actually is and what benefits your lawn actually gets from it. So let's think less about the grass and more about the soil. If you think about a really healthy soil, it should be made up of a mixture of solid matter, water and air, and it's the combination of those three which enable plants to thrive. If you think about any plant in your garden, if you get the soil right, you'll get the plant right, and that goes for grass too. For a lawn to really thrive, you want around about 50% solid matter and equal parts of 25% water and 25% air. But unless you're a scientist in like some sort of lab, you're never going to know specifically how much of those three things you actually have, because really it can vary from like footstep to footstep on your soil. But what you can do is do the right things at the right time to make sure that you've kind of got those three things in balance and in check. In the winter, we have almost too much moisture, and you mix that water content with the actual cold temperatures that we've got, it's kind of like a recipe for disaster, and that's what results in lots of lawns having considerable dieback through those months. However, aeration can help to kind of counterbalance that problem. What happens is every time you water your lawn, every time it rains, it pushes air pockets out of the soil, and then as the water percolates through, it means that the solid matter becomes much more compacted over time, and air is one of the key ingredients for microbial activity in your soil. By putting too much water down, or nature putting too much water down for you, you're effectively suffocating the soil, which then in turn suffocates the plant. So by aerating your soil, you're kind of counterbalancing that problem by forcing air down into your soil and sort of re-establishing that balance between the solid matter, the water and the air. And what aeration's also going to do, particularly if you hollow tine aerate, is it's going to decompact the soil. Now, I do see comments sometimes on videos that I make about aeration where people say it's a myth, or some people don't believe in it, or some people don't necessarily do it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't actually decompact the soil. To understand how aeration decompacts, let's think about what causes compaction in the first place, and it can be for a number of different reasons. The first of which is getting on your lawn throughout the year with quite heavy machinery. So if your lawnmower is quite heavy, then as you pass across your lawn, particularly if you're cutting every few days within the week, then you're slowly going to be compacting that soil down, squeezing air out, squeezing water out too. If you use your lawn quite a lot, let's say you've got kids and they've been legging around, just the sheer nature of you being on that space is going to compact it as well. But the number one contributing factor to your lawn becoming more compact is rain, and it's for the reasons that I've already mentioned. That water squeezes the air out, pushes those solid particles closer and closer together, compacts them, and the reduction in the air within the soil means that the microbial activity is going to struggle, which means that the actual plant is going to struggle too, because the plant has to get the goodness from somewhere, and it is those microbes. So how do you go about aerating your lawn then? You effectively have two different options. The first one is to hollow tine aerate. The second is to solid tine. Both of them are going to give you similar results in terms of they're going to help to dry out the soil, they're going to increase the microbial activity, and they're going to sort of redefine that balance of your solid matter, your water and your air. But you're going to get much more benefit from hollow tine aerating because it's taking that physical core out the soil. It's going to help to decompact it. You're going to get those fissures as the soil collapses in on itself. And because you've taken a physical core out, the benefits are going to last for a much longer period of time too. So the question might be then, do you really need to aerate? And really the answer to that question is kind of, it depends. It depends on a number of different factors. It depends on your soil type. It depends on how much shade your lawn gets, how much sun your lawn gets, the species of grass that you have. Let's start with soil type. So if you've got a sandy soil, it means that water's going to percolate through much more quickly. It'll pass through that soil faster than what it would do with a clay soil. Clay particles are really, really small, really tightly packed together, and in the summer it can become like concrete. In the winter it can become like an absolute bog. So by punching those holes using an aerator, it means that you're going to help it stay drier which is going to result in you getting less dieback throughout the year. So does that mean that if you've got a sandy soil, you don't need to aerate? Well, you probably still do to an extent, because your lawn's still going to become much more heavily weighted with water than it is with air. So again, it's about getting that balance right. It might just mean that if you've got a clay soil, you might need to aerate a little bit earlier in the autumn than you would do if you've got a sandy lawn. And location is everything too. So my 2 lawns sit in the shade for the entirety of the winter, which means it doesn't have the benefit of the sun helping evaporate that moisture out the sward and out the soil. So the holes that we leave behind from aerating are going to enable moisture to be able to escape, keeping your soil a little bit drier. If your lawn is in the sun all year round, then you're going to get those evaporation benefits. So the sun's going to help you to an extent, but aerating it is still going to help, because just think about how wet and cold our winters can be, no matter where your lawn is. And I would say it's grass type dependent, but not necessarily, because all grass types are going to benefit from aerating. But what it will mean is that you're going to get significantly less dieback throughout the winter if you aerate compared to if you don't. If you've got a Ben fescue lawn, then even if you get lots of dieback, the next year when it gets to the spring, you can feed it and you can cut it, and it's going to thicken up on its own, and within a month or two you'll end up with the lawn that you had the previous summer. So that's fine. However, if you've got a ryegrass lawn, one seed is one plant. If that plant dies, it's not coming back. So you want to preserve as many of those plants as you can, so that when it comes to the next spring, you do a renovation and overseed, you don't have to overseed as heavily, and you don't have to live with a mud bath until you get to like the end of May, and then suddenly everyone's going to boss ryegrass lawn. So aerating, it's going to mean you lose less grass plants over the winter, which means your lawn looks fairly decent even when it comes to that renovation time in the early spring. Now I am going to be posting a video in the next few weeks about top dressing, because some people do think that when you have aerated, you then need to get on top dress and fill those holes and to fill them with sand, and that's going to help with the actual drainage of the lawn. Well, I did that last year, and I actually put my lawn under quite a lot of stress going into the winter, so I wouldn't really recommend it. If you fill those holes with sand, you're not actually improving the drainage, you're actually hindering it a little bit when it comes to the winter. Leave those holes open. If you leave them open and you leave them exposed, then you're going to get much more benefit from that than you would do if you were filling them with sand. If you do want to fill those holes with sand, then maybe aerate in the spring and get on with loads of sand then as part of like a renovation, because that way your lawn's going to be able to bounce back much faster. Because at the moment, as much as the temperatures are fairly okay, time is ticking, and as we get into October and into November, those temperatures are going to drop and your lawn is just going to go straight into survival mode. So let's not stress our lawns out more than we need to. Let's aerate them and let's leave it at that. But if you don't want to aerate, no one is going to die. I do have people commenting sometimes say they've never aerated the lawns and they've always survived. And like I've already mentioned, there's probably to do with where the lawn is, probably the soil type that you've got, maybe the grass type that you've got. With Ben fescue, there's more roots, which means it absorbs more water and that kind of thing. So it means that your lawn's going to be less stressed over winter, yada, yada, yada. But if you've got a lawn that has struggled in the past, then consider doing this process. You just got to be mindful that whatever you do to your lawn in autumn should be done with the intention of helping your lawn to survive better through the winter, so that when you actually get to March time, April time next year, your lawn's in fairly decent nick, because aeration is effectively doing that. We're doing this process to keep as many grass plants alive as we can. If we don't aerate, we are going to get more dieback. That is inevitable. But if we do aerate, we help some of those weaker plants to hold on for dear life, and as the temperatures increase in March time, in April time, hopefully you can bounce back. So nice one for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it or found it useful in any kind of way, consider giving the video a like. I have posted a video on aerating the bottom lawn recently, and the video on this top lawn should be coming out pretty soon as well. I do have a baby on the way. At time of posting this, the baby might be here, who knows. So the videos might slow down over the next month or so, which might be understandable considering that I'm not going to be getting a lot of sleep, and I'll have another human being to try and like keep alive somehow, as well as obviously trying to keep the grass alive through the winter as well. But I will try to keep it with updates and content over the next few weeks too. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. And finally, thanks for watching.